me. Anyway, we are here with Juan-on-One and a little bit of Torn. And we're here with Rajendra Ramoon Maharaj.
Yes!
Yes! Y'all have been working on that thing. Woo. Okay, so we are here this evening for the Miseducation of America. It is not a new Lauryn Hill album. Okay, it is a work by this gentleman here, and we are here to talk to him. Now, I'm going to ask you some things. I didn't get enough information online.
But can I say, speaking of Lauryn Hill, she was my artistic muse for the creation of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, the colors of it looked kind of like the album cover.
Yeah.
And the words, obviously, Miseducation of, and I was like, I wonder if I'm supposed to think of Lauryn when I was writing.
She was the person that I was listening to the most. She was my muse.
Wow. Okay. So, well then that's a good thing that I said that.
Yes.
I didn't find enough of you online personally, so I'm going to ask. So you got an associate's degree in criminal justice.
Yes.
Bachelor of Arts in communication art.
Yes. St. John's.
Both of those from St. John's, and then a Master of Fine Arts in theatrical directory from
Brooklyn College.
Yes. Question: why did you not continue down the path of criminal justice?
It's so interesting. I actually use a lot of my training from criminal justice in my work because when I'm approaching an actor, I'm looking at the behavior of a character. Very much like a lawyer, it's all about behavior. And so I just always loved the arts, and I felt like I could be of service in the way that Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, men of the Caribbean who came to the United States, and combined that high art and also activism, which sits at the heart of my work tonight.
Yes. Okay. Now, it said you are Indo-Afro Caribbean.
Yes.
Okay. Explain what the Indo and now. Explain all three of them to me.
Sure. So my name, Rajendra Ramoon Maharaj, is Indian, and my dad is originally from India, and his family went through Trinidad before coming to the U.S. And my mother's family is originally from Haiti through the Bahamas before they got to the U.S. And so, as you know, in the West Indies, there's a whole lot of blending of cultures and communities from Africa. Slave ships were dropped off not only here in the U.S. in the South, but also in the West Indies. And so, Indo-Afro-Caribbean.
And your name means what?
It means king. King. 3 kings.
Kings, all three of them are different types of kings, which is probably why I can't pronounce any of them because I'm just a little prince. I'm just saying. I did see where you director, choreographer, musical. You
created musicals.
Which one do you like the best?
I like to consider myself as an artist, and depending wherever I am in my spirit and my season of my life, just telling stories that matter.
Okay.
I find playwriting to be the most interesting and challenging. I had a great mentor, the late great August Wilson, who encouraged me, and I love it because it's one of those things that I didn't realize the power of words until I really started writing my own.
Okay. Are you okay? Okay. I had to break to make sure Musa was all right, y'all. So you are doing the inaugural performance for the New Works reading series that's being done here at Theater Raleigh. So you are doing the first. Is this your first time in Raleigh?
No.
Working,
yes, but not visiting because my mother lives here. She lives in Wake Forest. My sister lives here as well. So we all lived in New York, and then a few years ago, my mother said she wanted to come down here because to be in a place that was a little slower and just a little kinder in her mind. And so this is my first time, and it's so exciting because of the pandemic and just because my mother's getting older, she hasn't been able to see my work the last few years. So this is like a homecoming.
Okay. So will there be more of you in North Carolina, possibly?
I believe so. I mean, I really have fallen in love with this theater. I did not know first of all, this used to be my sister's church before it became a theater. And so there's that connection. It's right down the road from my mom's house, which I love. And the mission. I mean, it's very much in line with my values. And I had to tell you, as a BIPOC artist, the integrity, the safe space that they created for me around really hard issues and really challenging work, Lauren and her whole team has just been really wonderful. So absolutely.
Good, great. Well, speaking of the hard subjects and the uncomfortable conversations, again, it's called Miseducation of America. Has, and not just that work, but some of your other works, have people seen those and have critics seen those and had negative things to say?
Well, I mean, as an artist, your job is to put the work out there in the world. And as Amir Baraka, the great playwright and activist, said, it is your responsibility to tell the truth. And I feel like in my work that I am a connoisseur of truth and history. I'm really fascinated how brown and black bodies exist in this space we call America throughout history. And I'm particularly drawn to civil rights issues. I don't know, there's a part of me that really connects to the 60s and the 50s and the early civil rights movements, and now living right now through the Black Lives Matter, the second great rights movement. So there's always critics, but I think at the end of the day, if I tell the truth and I honor my ancestors, then I'm good.
Okay, that yes, because looking at some of your other works, other titles. Okay, let me give you an example, and you can give me your.
Sure.
So at my job, there was training, equity training that they did. There was a white supervisor who interviewed people, and three of his three top candidates were white men. They thought everything was fine. There was a Hispanic supervisor, and her three top candidates were Hispanic or Latino women. What would you say to someone that says you only do black plays?
Well, I would say that they probably haven't seen my shows, because my shows always include different cultures, because I'm multicultural myself. And I think that I would challenge them to say that I do plays about America, and the people that I uplift and shine a light on are black and brown Americans. I think for far too long, honestly, in the American theater, we have been historically bypassed or relegated to February for our works. And I think that there's an awakening and a reckoning in my generation of artists and activists that is demanding speaking truth to power and lifting these stories. This is what August Wilson did. I mean, we love August because he took our stories and he upheld the average man and woman and said, these brown and black hands matter, and help shape America. And that's what I hope to do with my words.
Okay, definitely. And understand me throwing that question out, you obviously was not my thought pattern, but it happens and it comes. So tell us about the Miseducation of America well, I guess it doesn't matter if you give it away, because by now, if you're not coming at 8 o'clock, you miss it. So what can you tell us about it without giving it away to me, because I'm going to see it tonight for the first time?
Sure. I will say this. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and the Miseducation of America are rooted in the Miseducation of the Negro, which is by W. Du Bois. And so the question of what to do with the Negro, which is an American problem that we're still trying to figure out today. And so for me, it's based on my experience during the Black Lives Matter movement, living in Brooklyn, being a protester, being the third vice president for the NAACP during the Black Lives Matter, and the experiences that I had and that my indigenous, Native, Asian, white, Latino X, African American brothers just had being held in a cell. So in the spirit of Dr. King's Letters from Birmingham, that is a little bit of what the piece is about.
Okay. I cannot wait to see this one. Some of your other works, as I said, the subject matter has, let me rephrase that. What subject matter have you done besides the fight for the brown and black American?
I focused a lot also on indigenous particularly Indigenous women, who I feel are very underserved in the American theater and stories. I'm also really interested in interpersonal and LGBTQ plus stories. So it's really where my spirit lies in that moment that allows me to kind of follow that path. I'm really influenced by history. And I think, as Booker T. Washington said, like, we are living in history right now. So I'm really interested in telling these stories about what's happening right now.
Okay. And you said you were from New York, correct?
Yes, originally.
Okay. What made you decide that? And I know I asked you, why did you go from criminal justice to theater? But when you were younger, was there something in you, when did you go to a play or something? And
oh, that's a great question. So my mother always took me to the theater. My father wasn't down with the theater, and so my mother made me her little man, and I would go. And it didn't matter if I was having a hard day at school. It didn't matter if I was, being bullied or just feeling not great about the world. I could be in one night in Camelot, and the next night in Dreamgirls, and the next night in Cats. And I just love the transformative experience that you get via the theater. The theater is one of the few places every night that we have true American democracy. I always tell folks, it doesn't matter if you're sitting in the front row for Hamilton and paying $800 for that front row, or if you're standing in the cheap seats like I did as a kid growing up. When those lights go to half and then they go down before they come up, and when they come up, equality. We're all about to have a journey. And I love that. And that's what really got me drawn to the theater. Equality.
Okay, yes. I got a new philosophy. Equality in the theater. What play have you seen that you were able to direct, that you saw when you were younger or whatever, that you were able to direct or produce or choreograph?
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up reading a lot of Lorraine Hansberry and James Baldwin, who are two personal heroes of mine. And I got to work on the Broadway production with P. Diddy, Felicia Rashad, who became the first Black woman to win a Tony, Audrey McDonald, who won her 5th Tony, and Sanaa Latham. And a year and a half later, I got to direct it at Arkansas Repertory Theater. And I just tell you, just directing the work of one of your ancestors who you hold up, and just know that this is a piece that is so American and so important, to be able to touch it and shape it was really a gift.
Okay. And that was a raisin.
A raisin in the sun.
Yeah. What made you, besides the family connection that's here now, did Lauren come to you, or did you go to Lauren and say, I want to do something in Raleigh?
Well, it's so funny because Lauren had a contest kind of where she did a big submission to writers, and I happened to be here because of the pandemic. And during the pandemic, visiting my mother, I applied, and then I got the email saying congratulations. And so I'm just so honored, because to be the first, and to be able to know the type of work that Lauren is doing in terms of new works. We often think about New York and LA as taking risk and being brave and speaking to the now, and that the South kind of does history plays, and to see her just being this fierce lion, taking on these really important issues right now that are happening to BIPOC people in this community. I had my own experience just 2 days ago that kind of shaped me a little bit and shook me at the same time.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was driving with my colleague, and I was in the back seat of the car, and my colleague was driving, who was white. A white male was getting into a lane to change, and this truck with this man who is very much the stereotype that you think of, a good old boy with the Confederate and just, ignorance, wouldn't let us in. And I'm in the back row, and he's, mouthing the N-word to me and pointing to his hat, and I'm looking at his hat, and it's a Confederate flag. He drives off. There's the Trump and all those things. And I just thought to myself, wow, that's why I'm here doing the Miseducation of America. It's not just for the audience, it's for me as well.
In this area, it's kind of funny because I'm told quite often that doesn't happen. So, yeah, that's... But speaking of Lauren and you, so you are about to embark on something.
Yeah, I have 2 really exciting pieces of news to share with your your listeners out there. The first is when I leave here, I go to New York, and I am going to be part of the historic team. The very first time the prestigious Met is producing an all African American opera, composed by an African American, lyrics by an African American, director, choreographer, stage managers, actors at the world famous Met. And the Met is the highest you can get in the world.
Yeah.
And so to be asked to be in service, to be asked to be be in the room where it happens, it's just so exciting.
What is your part of it? It doesn't matter.
I'm the assistant director.
Oh, okay.
And and that role is such an important one in opera. And the opportunities for brown and black and BIPOC artists in opera. I lived in New York, and I just never thought it was possible. And at this moment, there's an awakening and a reckoning that are providing spaces for artists and people like myself. So I'm really proud to be able to be in the room. And then it's just very exciting because the next piece of news is that I have just been appointed the new producing artistic director of American Stage in St. Pete's, Florida.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm so proud because in this, it's 48 years, I think, I am the first BIPOC producing artistic director.
Congrats. Okay, see, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm grinning from ear to ear, and it's a reason, because this is wonderful news for all of us. And I don't think, and yes, he's in Florida, but I don't think everyone realizes just what this does for all of us. You were talking about the pandemic. That's what I wrote it down. Do you think the pandemic helped or hurt the BIPOC cause in theater?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it helped because had people not been forced to be home and see what happened to Breonna and Armand and what happened to Mr. Floyd, it spilled out. It was a ripple effect, and it affected every industry, including the theater, which a lot of people still see for white men and women who run it. And although we're at a moment in history right now where on Broadway, for the first time, every new play being written by an African American, not every play of those are being produced by African Americans. So there's work to be done.
Still a lot of work to be done. What do you say to someone that says, okay, enough is enough? Why does everything have to be black or BIPOC?
I think that I would say to that person, the privilege you have in saying that is why we still have the struggle.
Okay. Are we? Oh no, we're not. Okay, good.
Can you guys take a minute to say hi to your Instagram friends?
Oh, hey, who's watching? Any questions?
No questions
Okay.
so far, but hello, Laura from Ohio. Hello, Didi Harley Ryder. Hello, Vina. We're happy you're here.
Hello, you guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know if I have much else. I know we said we go 30 minutes, but I'm just so anxious to see.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Oh gosh, yes.
So, how did you get your love for theater? Where did that come from?
I have a degree in music. My degree is in commercial music from Winston-Salem State University, Go Rams. I kind of always thought I liked theater, but I'll be honest with you. Before I got in it, the only thing I had ever seen was the typicals, The Wiz, West Side Story, Pearly.
I love Pearly.
Which I'm going to be in Pearly in 2 months.
Oh my God, who are you playing?
I'm playing Get Low.
Oh,
It'll be at Pure Life Theater here, which actually just finished doing radio golf. But we're going to talk off camera, and we're going to get you. Yeah, no. And in 2014, one of my nephews tricked me into being in a play, and I got bit, and it just escalated from there. And so either acting or sound design is what I'm doing in theater. So
that's wonderful.
Loving that. And then Lauren and I, with Beltline to Broadway, I actually host a show called Torn, which stands for Theater on Racist Negativity. And we talk to theater people about the racism in the country and in theater.
Wow.
And so the work that you're talking about, we are actually trying to do. And I sometimes I get some negative comments about it, but I'm not going to stop.
Well, it's like we have to keep our eyes on the prize, and especially when we're doing this EDI work, because it's not just a black and white thing. And I think people get that really twisted. It's inclusive of all people, all cultures, all genders, all orientation, all pronouns.
Yes.
And I think that there's a beautiful awakening and reckoning that needs to happen. And I think you're part of the instruments. History always asks us, which side were you on? And I think you're on the right side of history.
Oh gosh, okay. Hearing you say that, I'm definitely appreciating this. Let me ask you this: how long are you going to be in North Carolina?
Well, I'm here for a few more days, and then I plan to come back. As I said, Lauren and I are going to be talking about the future. And I've really fallen in love with this theater, and I really hope that the state, the governor, all those who have power can see the potential that this could be the next Alliance Theater. This could be the next Kennedy Center if we put the time and the effort into it, because I think it's a really special place.
Have you been to any of the other theaters in
I have
area?
not, because you're here, and I'm both writer director, so I'm writing and directing and then making edits, but I'm looking forward to coming and seeing more art down here. I spent 13 years in Little Rock, Arkansas, writing the Little Rock Nine story.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did read that.
And, it got the cover of American Theater Magazine, it moved off Broadway, it was New York Times Critics Pick. And I just have this love of the South. I have the love of the movement and of what brown and black people were able to accomplish under unimaginable circumstances. We were not supposed to survive.
No, we weren't.
And here we are thriving.
Right. Let alone be here for 400 something years. Yeah. So 4 minutes. All right.
I always think about, it's funny you said something. I think about my work, and I think that it's not just written for me or for people today. It's for those yet unborn. August left for black men a legacy, that you had 10 plays where you saw black men that their heads fully realized human beings, but the heroes in their lives.
For the babies.
Yeah.
I love that. I definitely love that. We definitely want you back here. I would love to see you I'd love to see some of your work done at other theaters in the area.
I'd love that.
And I will personally drive you around to the other theaters just to meet people.
Excellent.
Because as I said, this past year, things are starting to, it's not a good old boys network anymore.
Yeah.
And you are obviously leading one of the leaders in that charge, and we all definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
So yes. So when do you start in Florida? Because I'm coming.
I start in Florida in October.
Okay.
And the cool thing about St. Pete's is it gets below 80, and there's very minimal humidity because of the Gulf of Mexico and the water. So it's a little bit of paradise that you can live in a postcard.
Right.
But I'm really curious, as we wrap this up, I have a question for you that's been on my spirit. What do you know for sure?
What do I know for sure?
Yeah.
I know that the sun will come out tomorrow. That's about all I know for sure. And I know that if there continues to be breath in my body, that I'm going to fight for what I think is right until someone can tell me it's wrong. And I'm willing to listen to see if I'm wrong about what I'm thinking. But if they can't relay to me the reasons why they think I'm wrong, then I'm right. And I'm going to continue to fight for that, regardless to who likes it. I've been told that the things I'm doing are going to get me out of theater. No one's going to hire me anymore. And okay, it hasn't happened that way. That's just a scare tactic.
Yeah.
But I'm right, and I know I'm right. So that's fine.
And the ancestors are guiding you. We woke up this morning strangers, and look, we're two comrades in the struggle.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, yes, I love that question. I have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start asking that. Wow. So, yes, sir.
I love the tables being turned here.
I know, right? He's interviewing me.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but I'm loving that too. I appreciate that.
Well, artist to artist and activist to activist, it's important to be able to uplift each other, and I'm very grateful for this platform. But I also want to say that I recognize your position in this community, and what you're doing is the work of angels, to quote my favorite president, Barack Obama.
Wow. You are my new best friend. He's my new best friend. I don't care about the rest of y'all right now, but at least for the next 2 hours. Thank you, sir, so much for this. I know you got to go. You got to get ready.
Yes.
This is okay. It's gone places I didn't expect it to go. With you talking to me. Thank you, and we look forward to your work. I did not read his bio because we only had 30 minutes, and I'd still be here reading it. We're going to post it, and I'm going to see it. I read it at home, y'all, and I was like, no. And like I told him, the things I really wanted to know, I couldn't find up there. That's because the bio is like, it's in Wikipedia, y'all. It takes up the whole Wikipedia page.
Well, we'll have to do this, even if it's remotely. I want us to stay in touch, because this is incredible.
Most definitely. You're going to be on Torn, by the way, on my show. I'm going to have you up there, too, on that show. And that usually is a panel of people. And yes, we're going to do more things, and I'm looking forward to that. So,
and thank you for being here tonight, and thank you all for creating this platform and for loving the arts.
All right. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk with you later. Oh, that's right. You can hear us, right? Okay, we can talk closing credits.